Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. And today I am going to be reviewing this little short film that got some buzz over at the Holly Shorts Film Festival. And that film is none other than the film Nisei. And Nisei it took home the Grand Jury Award and Oscar qualifying prize at the Holly Shorts Film Festival. And the narrative of the film is about the 442nd segregated Japanese American team who served in World War II. And I'm actually happy that the Holy Shorts sent me this because I love war movies. Not to mention, do I love war movies, but I also like history movies and stuff like that. But I like the context in this movie, though, because, okay, it's centered around these two brothers named John and Minoru. John and Minoru are on this bus. You don't know why they're on this bus. And we actually feel like that we're part of them because the fact that the way that the camera actually angles in the back of them, it makes us feel like that we're sitting in the back of the bus with them and we're witnessing this conversation with John and Minoru. And meanwhile, you also have this other guy staring at them and it looks like he's judging them for the base of their skin and things like that. That's what it seems like to me. It may seem like he's a little racist, but even though they're not saying that he's racist or anything like that, but that's how I took it, as this guy judging them for who they are and what they look like. And they're also wearing military clothes to support the American war. And this also sets up in 1944 in California first. And then once we actually get the conversation started between John and Minoru, and we find out that basically Minoru is going to see his father. John does not want to go and see their father at all. We don't understand why or anything like that. All he knows is that he doesn't want to see his father. So Minoru gets off the bus. And we actually see now that the father's actually at a concentration camp or a POW camp, which one you want to go with. That's where he's at. But then the guard is telling Minoru, "Hey, look, give these people hell, these enemies hell, because we had some people that died from Normandy." So, and also too, the soldier also doesn't like the fact, I think, that Japanese people are actually serving in our military either, which, to be honest with you, it's pretty much of a douche move. So Minoru goes and sees his father. His father tells him, "What are you doing?" Because it seems like at first he's actually against the war. And that's what I felt like whenever I first meet his father. And his father goes, "What are you doing? Why are you serving this country? What's your purpose? You're trying to be a war hero? Is that what you're trying to do?" And I like how Minoru just looks at him and he winds up telling him that this is his home. America is his home. He wants to support America. And in the father's eyes, at this point, you actually feel like he's actually given up on America. And so I like that conversation between them and that confrontation of one person wanting to support the war while the other person doesn't. And also, too, with the fact that over 120,000 Japanese Americans were placed in camps during World War II and were stripped from their homes and communities. They were imprisoned and sent away from the West Coast for fear they would betray America. So I can see the point of why the father is against it and why he's given up on America because of those reasons. But I can also understand why his son wants to support it as well. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. But I really love the chemistry built between the father and son. It actually hits you in the feels later on in the film. But after that winds up happening, he winds up asking him, "Where's John at?" And he goes, "Well, John didn't feel like coming." So after that happens, it cuts right into Italy of 1944. John and Minoru are over there, and they're going into this house, and there's nobody around. There's no other me around or anything like that. So it seems. I like the banter between John and the other army officer as well, because the banter between them was fantastic, even with Minoru. And I like how basically the army soldiers like, "What's wrong?" They couldn't find a size small for you, but still, I love the banter between them. You can, even though he was only in it for like 3 minutes of the film, you can definitely feel the chemistry between the two of them, and that's something that I really enjoyed about it. And this movie moves fast, and so as Minoru is going into the house, and John is left behind uphill, he winds up running into this little girl inside this house, and she has like a little doll. She winds up lowering, and she tells the other person that's to lower his weapon and everything too. She's not an enemy. And as he's walking out, you think all this is fine because it's quiet, but like they say, it's all quiet on the Western Front. And all of a sudden, you hear these bombs going off, or these bombs dropping. And oh my God, it is the most chilling thing that I've heard in a while. Not to mention the sound mixing for this was really good. That's one thing that I really want to say too. Once I get back into the scene, the sound mixing for this, I actually felt like that I was part of this. I actually felt like I was in this war. The sound mixing team did a fantastic job with this. But anyways, Drew winds up hurrying up and moving along in the pocket while John is trying to find another spot to actually shoot down these enemies and stuff like that. But also, before that happens, we actually have another scene with an American flag in John's backpack. And I like the banter once again between the army official guy. He goes, "Oh, what are you going to do? Wave your flag up in the air saying, oh, we surrender. We're the cowboys." I love that banter between them. It made me laugh until what we got later on because it made me cry. But I really love that aspect of adding a little bit of the comedy and that quietness before the storm kind of thing. But anyways, Minoru winds up uh, trying to find a place to where he can hide until things lay low until things die down. John winds up gunning down some of these soldiers. They all wind up killing each other. John winds up going into a little hole for coverage. He gets up and he winds up finding his brother dead. And that broke me. I'm gonna be honest with you. That scene right there alone broke me because of the fact that we had this whole entire setup at the very beginning between the two brothers and these brotherly love, and now that's gone. And that's something that's really sad about it. And so Minoru winds up taking the flag out of his bag. But then it cuts back over to that flashback I told you guys about at the very beginning, whenever I told you that we are gonna go back to that one scene where the father's talking to Minoru about how I thought that he doesn't support it, but here's the thing. He doesn't support it. But what I love about this is this monologue between them two. He's like, look, America is done for me, but it's not done for you. And you should go ahead and fight for your freedom. And that's something that I thought was written beautifully. You actually get to see where the American flag came from and things like that too. I know I went into a little bit of spoiler territory because of John dying, but I feel like I needed to give you some context with it because of the fact that this is a 20-minute movie, but you need to see this in its full entirety to get what I'm talking about. And I don't know when it's going to be released to the public or anything like that, but the flag alone is very moving on how they made it. Okay, so they used sheets for the stars. They used Minoru's and John's father's uniform to make the rest of the flag. And I just thought it was very moving. And he even said it that him and his wife, John's mother, made that for them whenever they first came to America. And that was really moving to me to see that. And then then Minoru winds up taking it, and the little boy too. That's I think he might be related to them. I'm not 100% sure. It's like, are you gonna stay? He goes, no, I got somewhere to go. And that's really sad because you don't know if you're going to be back again to see your dad or this little boy either. And the impact that you have on family in itself with war. So I love those aspects that they throw into it. And this movie is also based on a true story, like I said at the very beginning of this. And, you know, also I want to mention that they nicknamed the Purple Heart battalion the 442nd Actions distinguished them as the most decorated unit for the size and length of service in the history of the United States military. And also, too, I want to also mention this. I think that this film is brilliant, brilliantly shot. I got to see all the action sequences, no shaky cam, nothing like that. You actually feel like you're part of this movie. You're in this world of Minoru and John, and you want them to both survive this thing. And I really have to say I was really moved by that. And this was actually told in the eyes of two of Japanese characters, and it's just very moving, and I enjoyed it. So I hope that you guys wind up checking this out. And the 20 minute it's a 20-minute film, but it was also shown at the of San Jose State's University Theater, the Japanese American History Museum in San Jose, and in Panaloma, where SJSU students enrolled in Spartan Film Studios. And the film is also co-produced by Rowan Films, a company founded by Martinez Ray and fellow Spartan Jessica Olato. So that's what I like about this, is how authentic it is, how original it is. And this is just a fantastic film. I recommend that you guys check it out. And yeah, so many of these people gave the ultimate sacrifice to prove their loyalty to a country that had incarcerated their families. Yet it was so difficult for them to share their stories because they were afraid of passing on their shame and or trauma. That's why it's important that we record these stories so that we will never be forgotten. Because I think it's important to remember your history so that way you don't repeat the same thing again. Stories need to be told, and I just have to say I have to commend the actors. I have to commend the sound mixing, cinematography. Fantastic film. Check this out when you guys can. And guys, I don't know when this is going to be released to the public, but when it does, I'll leave a comment below. I'll pin it up so you guys can check this out. This movie is moving, and it is fantastic. This film to me needs to win the Oscars. This is the one that I've been waiting for in a while when reviewing these films. These short films is something that will stick with you. This movie will stick with you when you're working and throughout the day. So, guys, that's going to do it for my review on Nisei. And I hope that you guys enjoy this short film review. Please tell me what you guys think of this review, even though you may not be able to see the movie, but tell me what you guys think of my thoughts on it. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe below. And always until next time, guys, have a great and safe day. And I'll catch you guys on the next one as usual.